welcome in to Lock and Live for college football week 6 with Uncle Phil and the Railbird. I'm your host, Matt. Thanks everyone for joining us this Saturday morning. Uncle Phil, Railbird, how are you doing?
Good, man. Excited for today. Always excited for Saturday. Been up, couldn't sleep last night, but I always typically get up on game days around about 3 a.m. and go to work. So, man, I am on about my 10th cup of coffee, and I'm ready to roll. Railbird, what about you, buddy?
Yeah, I woke up early to use the restroom, and I saw you had already sent out a tweet and stuff, ready to roll, and it was 5-something in the morning. So I've been awake ever since then. I've responded to you, and looking forward to doing the show here today.
Love it. I'm with you guys. I've been up early, been up late, ready to get after it. So before we get going, Uncle Phil, Railbird, you guys have been crushing it in college lately. What's been the key to the success as of late?
For me, I feel like I'm really seeing, some of my favorite plays the best. Like I'm 4-1 on my bonus picks for college football. So for me, I really expect to hit those every week. You kind of now are starting to figure out who teams are. You're getting into conference where teams, you're getting a true understanding of what these teams are all about and who they are. And so for me, that helps. And of course, watching them early, understanding very early on signs of who is a contender and who is a pretender, those help a lot as well. Railbird, what about you? What's been the secret to your success so far?
I think it is the more data points we have as each week goes by, the more familiar we get with these teams. And then when you start conference play, you have some teams that haven't played anybody and some teams that have played at least one good opponent.
Sure.
And a lot of times those teams, they might have a loss playing somebody that's 3 or 4-0 that have played nothing but, tomato cans. And the team with the loss is more prepared. The 4-0 team might not quite be ready to get smacked in the face.
That's right.
Definitely. All right, guys. Well, without further ado, let's just jump right in. We got a bunch of questions rolling in. Uncle Phil, where are we heading first?
We are headed to the swamp. We're watching where Texas comes to visit in Gainesville, Texas and Florida. Look, again, I just do not know what I'm going to get out of these offenses. These offenses are really a box of chocolates each week. But what I do know is pretty much what I'm going to get out of these defenses. And these defenses are strong, they're physical, and they typically lead to low-scoring games. So my first pick is the under 42.5 on the Texas-Florida game. So for me, I just am not convinced that they're good, and Arch Manning's going to have to show me he's a top quarterback before I'll anoint him then. So, and of course, DJ Lagway, he is a turnover waiting to happen. So I'm counting on him screwing up a couple of red zone drives as well. So that's my reasoning in that one. And also, like I said, Texas is one of the only teams that's held Ohio State in check this year. And again, that was the first game, but we saw Ohio State last week. They looked like a machine on the road in a tough spot in Washington and handled business there. So next pick for me is we're going down to Tuscaloosa, where Vandy's coming to visit in a revenge spot for Alabama. Look, will Alabama cover? I don't know. I kind of lead toward Vanderbilt in that game. But what I do know is that both these teams are scoring. Vanderbilt is a run-oriented offense, and Alabama's run defense is not very good. I expect Vanderbilt to score their share, and certainly Alabama at home. I expect this to be a little bit of a shootout. So give me the over 55.5 as my next best bet.
Uncle Phil, we love it. Good stuff. Looking forward to both those bets today. And can you tell us a little more about your notebook today?
Notebook's got 7 picks. Thanks, Matt. Notebook's got 7 picks in it. I feel really strong about the notebook. If anybody doesn't know, it's at UnclePhil'sLocks.com. You get the whole weekend for $99. and I'll have probably 10 to 12 picks tomorrow in the NFL. So bottom line, it's cost you very little per game for the whole weekend. So appreciate any support you guys have, but either way, I certainly enjoy giving out these free picks, and let's have a day today.
Absolutely. Looking forward to the notebook as well. Railbird, where are you heading today?
Kind of to piggyback on just something that Phil just said about that Texas-Florida game, when I did my weekly radio spot here in Arkansas talking about college football, I led with, can somebody get to 20 points in this game? If they do, they're probably going to win. I'm with Phil. I do think it's going to be a low-scoring game. For me, my first game I'm going to go to is in Louisville, Kentucky. Virginia had the big win last week, the upset of Florida State, maybe the biggest win in the last 20 or 30 years for the school. Meanwhile, Louisville fell down 17-0 at Pittsburgh, fought back and got a big win, 34-27, I believe was the final. I can't believe I might have to see Virginia generate that effort again a week back on the road as a ranked team where they're playing a 4-0 Louisville team that's not ranked, that has momentum off the big win on the road. Jeff Brom is known as a big game coach. I know Louisville is treating this as a big game today. They want to get ranked. I believe they should be ranked. I believe that they are going to cover the spread against Virginia today. I look for a 2-touchdown win as they're about minus 6.5 or 7-point favorite. The second game I'm going to look at is here in Arkansas, and that's in Jonesboro, Arkansas. Texas State visits the ASU Red Wolves, and while Texas State is only 1-5 lifetime playing in Jonesboro and lost 77-31 there just 2 years ago, as ASU had 4 non-offensive touchdowns in that game. This is a little different case this time around. ASU's coming off 4 straight losses. This is their 6th straight week of playing games. Meanwhile, Texas State is off a bye. They have a big offense, top 40 in the country in yards per game and points per game, and that's going up against a Red Wolf defense that is struggling terribly. They're number 125 out of 136 in terms of yards allowed per game. Give me Texas State minus the 13.5 over Arkansas State today. So Texas State and Louisville, my 2 plays today.
I love those games. They're a little bit off the board. You can usually find a lot of value in those. Good picks, Lang.
Hope so.
Looking forward to it. All right, outside of your guys' picks, the best part of the show is the questions, and we got a bunch of them rolling in. So let's just get after it. First on the line, we've got Jordan on YouTube. Says, let's have a day, Uncle Phil. I sure would love to hear your thoughts on 2 spreads. UTSA at Temple, 6.5. Iowa State at Cincy, minus 1.5. Let's roll.
Well, hey, appreciate the question. Thank you very much. I don't have Jordan, I don't have much of a thought on the first game, unfortunately. It sounds like you do. And I don't know that I can add to that. The other game I really, really, really like. I like it so much it's in my notebook. So I apologize for that, but I can't speak about that. But I will let Lang. Any thoughts on the first game, Lang, or either game? But I mean, the first game first. Hopefully, you got something on that one because I just don't.
I didn't really have anything on the UTSA at Temple game, although I used UTSA as a talking point or a game data point for my Texas State pick. Texas State did go to UTSA and win 43-36. And I think that's a good win. I think UTSA is a pretty good team. Temple kind of up and down so far this year. I would lean toward taking the points in that game. It is not an official pick for me, but that's the way I would lean. Iowa State at Cincinnati. I do have a wager on this game. It is on Cincinnati. I did take them on the money line. In case they would just win by 1 point, I like Cincinnati to win this game. I think Iowa State has been like sneaking by on some games. I mean, the 2 games that they played away from home this year, one in Dublin. They won by 3, and I didn't think they played very good against Kansas State that day. The other one was here in Arkansas. They played ASU in Jonesboro. They won that game by 8. And if there had been some fair officiating, let's just call it that, that game goes to overtime, or Arkansas State would have beat them. Iowa State going on the road again, I'm not so much on them today. I'm with Cincinnati.
All right. Well, thanks for that, Lane. Thanks for the question there, Jordan, on YouTube. Next on the line, we got Rob D on X. Rob says, any value betting Clemson minus 13.5 against Belichick in North Carolina?
Yeah, for me, I love this game. It was on my big board. I had 21 picks on my big board today, and this one just didn't make it. But I like Clemson. And again, the reason why it didn't make my notebook is that I couldn't justify it, because I'm just betting that Clemson off a bye, they had some heart-to-hearts and like, hey, we still got a chance. We can still go on a run right now and show the committee we deserve to be in. And let's go hammer, and let's start off with UNC. And, of course, UNC has just not been a good team this year. We'll see how the Belichick to college experiment goes for him. It's certainly gone well for him personally, but I'm not sure how well it's going to go for him professionally. Doesn't seem like a well-coached team right now. It seems like a mess. This looks like if Clemson is going to have a get-right game today, it's going to be today. And if I did anything, I put Clemson down because I just can't quit them. And so, but I didn't put them in my notebook. It's not one of my best bets, but I instantly wrote that down as I was going through the lines, of one of my picks that I liked, but I just couldn't justify enough to tell you to put your money on it. Lang, any thoughts?
My thoughts are, I quit playing Clemson after the Syracuse debacle a couple weeks ago. That said, I mean, if I played this game, it's Clemson or nothing. I can't back North Carolina at pretty much any point total right now. Their defense is atrocious, and their offense isn't much better.
Doesn't this seem like the classic buy low spot for Clemson?
Yeah.
I mean,
the one thing that concerns me a little bit is this line was set at 14 all week, and now it's down to 13.5. That's a little bit.
I don't like late line movements either.
A little what's going on. If it was 4, it sounds weird, I know, but if it was 14.5, I might feel better about Clemson.
I would agree. I feel the same way. I don't like the late line movement moving against us.
No doubt. Hey, well, thanks for the question, Rob. Hope you're doing well. Next on the line, we got Zach on X. He says Miami versus Florida State under first half. Any thoughts?
Look, that is another one that was in my notebook. Zach, great question. I like that one. Like, man, these are some really good questions today. I like this is a classic spot because in big games like this, where there's so much on the line, teams are afraid to make a mistake. You're going to see a little bit of a cat and mouse game in first half. And I love first half unders in this spot. I think this is a great spot for Miami, Florida State to go under. I think it's 26.5 last time I looked at it. I think this is a great spot to go under that first half total. And then I think they, probably come out a little bit more frisky in the second half. Lang, any thoughts on that?
It'd just be interesting for me to see how Florida State comes out of the loss last week. And also on the Miami side, coming out of a bye, Miami's going to throw everything they can in this game, I believe. It's their last, what I think is a big game for them for the year. They also have a bye next week. So they have a bye before and after Florida State. So they can throw the kitchen sink at Florida State. But coming out of a bye, that, like you said, they still could be rusty or whatever. These games historically, when both teams are good, go down to the wire, close game. So the close to the vest first half makes sense.
Alrighty. Hey, well, thanks for the question there, Zach. And piggybacking off that game, the next question is Grant on X. He says, thoughts on Florida State versus Miami. And he has some other thoughts, too. He wants to know about the Arkansas coaching situation.
Okay. Yeah. Look, as far as the first one first, Florida State, Miami, that's a great game to bet live. Let's, to Lane's point earlier, let's see how Florida State responds after that loss. Were they going to hang their head, or are they going to bow up being at home and try to do this? Obviously they're going to get up for their rival. It's going to be a big game. I would look at it. I'd probably make a bet early on in that game. I'd look at Florida State, look at Miami, see who's coming out with more juice in that game, and whoever's coming out with more juice, that's probably who I'd bet live. So that's what I would do with that. Arkansas coaching search, a little bit off topic for this forum, but for me, I'll give my top candidate on that. I think they need to go and pursue hard. They need to go pursue John Gruden because Arkansas doesn't have the money right now. John Gruden would be a national name that can bring a lot of charisma recruiting for them, but they also need somebody who's going to engage the boosters and get the big money people to do it, just like they did with Calipari. Calipari was a perfect pick in basketball because he could get his own boosters because our AD is weak and he can't engage the big boosters. So for me, that's what I'd pick. Lang, any thoughts on the game? I'll leave you out of the coaching search.
The Florida State Miami game on my radio spot, I took Florida State plus the 4.5, whatever it is, just because of what I referenced to before. And maybe it's just too much ingrained in me from the late 80s, early 90s. Those games go down to the wire. It seems like Miami won by 1 or 2 points on the Florida State missed field goal at the end of the games. Two heavyweights like this, I'm going to assume both will be on their game probably, at least maybe not early in the game, but as the game rolls on. I think this game probably goes down to the wire, and I would lean toward Florida State plus the points. But I think Miami's going to find a way to win.
Awesome. Good stuff, guys. Well, hey, thanks for the question, Grant. Appreciate you coming to the show each and every week. Thank you.
Yep.
Next on the line, we got Nicholas McCoy on X. He says, Uncle, is Ohio State covering today?
Yeah, I mean, you'd certainly think so. Ohio State looked like a machine last week. Washington was a very popular dog. It was in my notebook, and I certainly lost that one. Certainly regretted playing it early on because I just saw a different team today there. But what I saw last night, Friday nights, one of my processes is I talked to a guy who I've known for a while who works at a casino and out in Vegas. He tells me what book needs and where the big money's going. And they're like, well, big money's going here, but I need this. And so the big money is going in on Ohio State. And the book really needs Minnesota. And in those cases, and it's a large handle on Ohio State. The book really needs Minnesota today. If I'm playing anything, I'd play Minnesota. It feels like maybe a sneaky backdoor cover to me that breaks the hearts of a lot of people and the wallets. Lang, any thoughts on that one?
For me, and I'm not playing it, for me, it would be Ohio State or nothing. I think Minnesota has running back issues, injuries. Now I know running back can be one of the easiest spots to cover up. If you got some good blocking, I mean, most competent, players can run the ball and get some yards. So maybe that won't be an issue. But I just can't see Minnesota scoring a lot of points today. And they would have to hold down Ohio State defensively for Ohio State not to cover. But it's not a game that I'm going to be playing.
Alrighty. Good stuff, guys. Thanks for the question, Nicholas. We'll keep it rolling. A couple more here before we take off. X on the line, we got ISO Joe on X. He says, thoughts on Kansas State money line over Baylor?
I don't have any big opinions on that one. Lang, do you?
I've played Kansas State myself. It's not on my sheet today, but I've played Kansas State myself plus 6.5. Money line, maybe. That might be stretching it a little bit. I think Kansas State, after their bye week, played much better last week. I believe covered for the first time during the year. They got their running back, Edwards, I believe is his last name, back healthy finally. He had a big game last week. I do like Kansas State today, but I like them with the points more over than the money line.
All righty. Good stuff. Hey, well, thanks for the question there, ISO. Next on the line, we got Andrew from Dallas. Andrew, good to see you, brother. He says, saw Kentucky last week. They gave up. Thoughts on Georgia minus 11 first half. Get right this week. Must cover. Plus 16.
Look, that's in my notebook. So there's a lot I want to say about that game, but I'm not. I apologize, Andrew. Good to see you again. Lang, any thoughts on this game?
I'll tell you what, just reading that and looking at that, thinking what I saw when I mentioned I might like Kentucky last week, boy, that was terrible. That was an awful effort they gave. Depending on what Georgia does, though, I mean, once again, how they come, out of that Bama loss, do they sleepwalk the first half of the first quarter? Kirby has a reputation of not running up the score in games like this, but maybe that was because he could score 40 or 50 on people, and he wouldn't cover the line. But this line is much smaller. I do think Georgia can really run the ball this year. They've ran well more than they've passed. I know the Tennessee game they had 300-something yards, but they've ran the ball pretty well this year. I wouldn't be against Georgia minus 11 in the first half. Kentucky's offense is just putrid. As far as the Mississippi State cover plus 16 against Texas A&M, early in the week, I kind of liked Texas A&M when it was under 14, and this line has just kept moving up. I know Mississippi State's on the road. Tough loss last week at home in overtime against Tennessee. But I think they might can cover this game. I mean, Texas A&M 29-7 their last 36 home games, but only 17-19 against the spread in those 36 games.
Yeah, I apologize, Andrew. I didn't see the Mississippi State game, and thanks for picking that up, Lang, and jumping in on that and great analysis. Look, I also feel like that Texas A&M that one's not in my notebook, but oh yes, it is. Never mind. Thanks, Lang. they're both in my notebook today, Andrew. You're hitting right on the right one.
Hey, we'll give Andrew one more. He had another one. He wants to know about
good.
Tech minus 13 at Houston.
Yeah. That one was in my big board that didn't make it to my notebook, but probably should have. Texas Tech is a juggernaut. Houston is worst, 134th in the entire nation at allowing pressure to their quarterback on dropbacks. Texas Tech has one of the better defensive lines, not only in the Big 12 but in the nation. That should be a wrecking ball, and Houston's defense is not that good. Texas Tech should score some points. I think Texas Tech is just going to kill them, and I'm going to regret. I've got 7 picks in my notebook. I'm going to regret not having an 8th, but I like Texas Tech a lot.
Okay, Phil, you just sold me on the 134th on pressure rate. Yes, Texas Tech defensive line wrecked Utah's offensive line.
That's right. It was one of the best in the nation, right? It was touted. Yeah.
And I believe, if I remember right, Texas Tech's off a bye as well, I think. Houston was down big against Oregon State last week and had a miraculous comeback. They're not having a miraculous comeback. They get down big in this game. When we get off here, I'm going to play Texas Tech.
Yeah, I like them.
I love it. Hey, well, thanks for the question, Andrew, and thanks for always coming each and every weekend. It's always great to see you.
You bet.
We'll take one more question before we wrap up here. We got VI on X. He says, any thoughts on Wisconsin versus Michigan? Sitting at 16.5 right now.
Didn't make my big board, but it was on the fringe of making my big board before I cut it down. And if I had any guts at all, I would take Wisconsin. Wisconsin has probably the best run defense in the entire Big Ten, and that's what Michigan does, is that they run the ball. So I kind of think that Wisconsin keeps it close, but I just don't have enough feel for it. But I probably would take Wisconsin. I don't think that they're winning the game, but I think they keep it closer to 16.5. Lang, do you have any thoughts on this one?
My only, on the other, taking the other side of that would be, where does Wisconsin get any points from versus Michigan's defense? And if Michigan gets 24, can Wisconsin cover? And I'm not sure. For me, it would be Michigan or nothing, but I'm not playing it either way.
No, I agree. It'd have to be like a turnover or something like that Wisconsin gets a cheap one. Because you don't really see that happening. So I'm not real sure. And that's why I look, in my younger days, I'd probably zero in on one side of the ball and go, I'm using that stat and I'm just going all in, and that would get me burned. And now I try to go, okay, well, they're really good here, but where else are they good? And like you, I couldn't see any other way that they would score. But that's my feelings about the game. But I know you'd be Michigan or nothing. I'd be Wisconsin or nothing, but it's nothing for me.
It's nothing for me as well.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Hey, well, thanks for the question, VI. Uncle Phil, Railbird, any final thoughts before we wrap up? And if you could repeat your picks for the audience, that'd be fantastic. I know a lot of people just jumped on right now. So,
yeah, absolutely. Railbird, we'll do it in reverse order this time. You tell the audience your picks.
Okay. My two best bets today: Louisville minus the 6.5. Might be 7 in some places, but if you can get the 6.5, take the minus 6.5 over Virginia. And the other one is Texas State minus the 13.5 over Arkansas State. Had pretty good luck so far through 5 weeks, 6-3-1 on these picks on here. So hopefully we can get 2 more today and run it up to 8-3-1. I
love it, man. Picks only a mother could love. So we're going to stick with those. For me, it is, I'll do mine again. Texas, Florida under 42.5, just because the strong defenses, and then down in Tuscaloosa, give me the over 55.5 in the Vandy, Alabama game. So look, those are my two best bets. And like I said, if you want more from me, they're all in my notebook at UnclePhil'sLocks.com. I've got 7 picks today, and I'm pretty excited about that. And I'm 4-1 in my last bonus pick. So excited about that as well. But guys, hey, thanks for tuning in. Guys, as always, let's have a day. And as always, guys, let's roll.